You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Following After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Following After Show.
Welcome to The Following, Episode 5, Season 2, Reflection. I'm Joe Sanfelippo. I am joined, as always, by the lovely and talented Joseph Braswell.
I knew you were coming to me.
Did you know that?
I was leaning into the mic.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Joseph Braswell. For those of you who can't see, who are not on the YouTube, Joe is wearing a sweater vest. I'm sorry, that's a full-blown button-down. Was that? What would you call that?
It doesn't matter. It's just.
It's deep, man. And he's got a collared check shirt, and he was wearing glasses just a moment ago, but he took them off just to make my professor thing seem less poignant.
Hi.
We also have sitting next to Joseph, off to his left, the lovely and talented Julia Cearley.
It's very strange to be on this side.
I know, it's different over there, huh?
I've never sat over here.
Things are weird.
Well,
Things are
Here
weird.
I am.
Normally,
I don't
Julia
bite.
sits next to me.
I do. I miss you.
I know, I miss you so far away.
No one cares about me. You know who I miss?
Who do you miss?
Nando Velasquez.
Nando Velasquez, who was not able to be with us this afternoon because he has, what do you call it?
Stuff.
Job.
Stuff. Yep, stuff to do.
Man works for a living. And of course, I'm Joe Sanfelippo. I'm happy to be with you guys. So, episode 5, The Following. Julia Cearley, what are your thoughts? How did this episode grab you?
This was my favorite episode of this season so
Mine
far.
too.
I'm happy to see everybody kind of in one place. No more Arkansas.
That's true. There's no more Boone County, Arkansas.
Although he did make a great comment about it when she has, have you been writing?
I was
been
in Arkansas.
But I'm happy to see Emma and Joe back together. I'm loving her new hair.
Yeah,
She's looking
finally.
good. I don't know who did it, though.
got rid
That
of
was
the
a
edge.
really good...
Yeah, who did it? Like
Who did
mystery.
that? Like, that was a really awesome hair job.
It was the Frenchie. The Frenchie.
It must have been
twins.
Frenchie.
The Frenchies are not nice. Even the other Frenchie wants to kill people.
Yeah.
Never
Well,
trust
it's
Frenchie.
the
Haven't we been
International
over
House
this?
of Killers.
We've covered this.
We've covered this.
We don't like
Never
the French.
trust Frenchie.
But we did that. Joe wasn't here when we did. We don't like the
that's
French.
right.
So
Don't tell our dads.
Look at the look I'm getting right now.
Don't tell our dads.
I did like that. I like the Valerie, the kind of punk rock Valerie Curry, but you know.
Oh, I like this Valerie Curry.
Let's be real.
I like every Valerie.
I was going to say, at this point, Valerie Curry could
easy.
shave her head. He'd be like, I dig it. I dig what she's doing.
She was in there.
But no, I really liked this episode. I thought Ryan was kind of badass. I was digging Max. I mean, I'm just liking the development of the characters.
I think we're kind of in flow. I feel like
Yeah.
we're hitting with the good part of the bat right now.
Yeah.
We're hitting with the middle of the bat. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I liked it. I'm starting to, okay, Kevin Williamson. I'm starting to see what you're doing. I'm starting to like what you're doing here. Not that I didn't like what you were doing. I was just, I voiced last week how I felt about, Ryan Hardy and his motivations and what is he up to. But now I think we have some fully formed characters. I mean, I'm okay with the house, the fancy house. I'm really intrigued by Lily. I'm really intrigued by Kevin Hardy's vigilante ism, if you will, his whole vigilante thing. I don't know how long that's going to last because no, he can't go around killing people forever. I do like the whole love triangle between Lily and Emma and Joe that's being set up. And I like the twins, man. The twins are cool.
I'm loving the twins.
Yeah, the twins are all right.
Yeah.
It is a cool device. I like it, and I like that we've made one. Well, they're both totally jacked up, but we made one we've given them a condition.
Right.
Cannot be touched unless initiated. That's a very specific condition.
That is a very,
Yeah.
very specific
Did we
condition.
figure out what it's called?
Oh, yes. It's called hapaphobia.
Hapaphobia.
It's the fear of touching or being touched, predominantly develops after a bad experience, and predominantly about being touched by someone of the opposite sex, and often developed by boys who have been victims of sexual abuse.
Oh. Lily?
Oh, yeah.
Twin brother?
I
Oh, no.
Hapophobia.
Hapophobia.
That sounds so made up, by the way.
Doesn't it? I was going to say, until you read that last line, it sounds like marriage. I don't know. It's not funny.
Not funny at all.
Not funny at all.
Shots fired at Aaron Sanfelippo.
Ladies and gentlemen. No, you know what? It's interesting to me. I like that we've got. I always like obstacles. I always like it when we give characters like, here's a thing that is definitely real and it's wrong with you. I like that. I always think that adds to a scene. And I like the way your girl Emma, Miss Valerie Curry.
Yeah, she's my girl.
How she responded to it.
Yeah.
She's like up in his face.
Yeah.
She's like,
get in
no.
there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Valerie, it's so funny. You forget that Emma is, that you get lulled to sleep by her, her sweet looks and her, her vulnerability with Joe, but she's a stone cold killer.
She's
Oh,
vicious.
she's badass.
And she's a stone cold manipulator. Don't forget Emma from season 1. She's running those two fools around in the shower. So I mean, yeah,
That's
she's
right.
she's definitely ready to F with some people if she needs to.
No, I love that, and I love that she got not up in his grill, but like up in his grill, like
Right.
grabbed his head and shoved him.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't you dare get up! No, don't you tell me I
Yeah.
can't do whatever.
Like,
Oh,
you touched me.
you out of your mind? Oh, that was awesome.
That was great.
I love that scene. I loved the artist that draw me like your French girls, Jack. That's all I could
Yeah,
think of the whole
right?
time.
Yes, I loved it too.
Draw me like your French girls.
Kate Winslet with no accent.
Yep.
Yes.
No, trust me, it works. Does it? I don't know. That was a neat scene. But I want to talk about. Well, let's get into it right now. Let's talk some more about our girl Emma. Why not?
Yeah. Emma. Well, first of all, this is not gushy as it sounds, but this is a real take. Valerie Curry's classing up the joint, man. I mean, she's really when she shows up, as an actress, I'm very interested. I'm very interested in her choices. I'm interested in what she's doing, what she has to say. I believe her. Like, I don't know. I mean, of all the people, I would say that all the people in the entire show that came back from season 1 to season 2, I am the most invested right now in Emma. This is just me personally, not because I find her attractive, but just because as a character, I don't know, she's grounded to me. I mean, no offense to Ryan Hardy, no offense to Joe Carroll, no offense to Westmore, but I don't know, Emma's my girl, and I think she's done a fantastic job here of like really bringing some real vulnerability as well as some depth to this character. And it actually helps fill out the whole world. It actually helps me sort of understand Joe. It helps me understand, this world, the serial killer world that they've all created. It like I am able to see this whole goofy world, and I will say goofy because it's kind of goofy. We got international serial killers in a mansion, but aside from that, it enables me to sort of like really have some empathy and really see the world through the eyes of Emma, and I believe her, and that's all because Valerie Curry is such a great actress. That's what I say. I got you.
Well, I'm gonna talk more about your selection of her as your favorite later on. But I do want to spend some more time on our girl Valerie, because I think, like you said, it does really it informs everything else when there is still someone left to follow Joe, when there is still someone left from the old cult who
right.
and so you feel the reasons from last season. Although, to be honest with you, some stuff is really missing. I mean, we're missing. Joe said in this one he has a plan. He said so on the lawn.
Oh boy!
Right?
I have a plan.
I didn't know. I had very mixed emotions
right?
about that.
Do you really have a plan, Joe? And if you have a plan, it's no good for anyone.
Oh boy!
Right? But
don't worry, Emma. I have a plan. I was like, uh-oh.
And lots of people are going to die.
I'm playing.
Right?
Plan.
All right.
But it's you forget who he was, and or you can forget, I guess, because this season's been such a dismal thing for Joe. It's been no fun at all. But I don't know. For me, like seeing him in her eyes is neat. It does inform the entire show. But what I've enjoyed most about Emma is her own personal. It seems to me she's grown quite a bit from last season. Last season, she was a lot lower in my estimation on the totem pole.
Yeah.
This season, it seems to me like she's the only one they really kept. She's the only follower they kept over from last year, and she's got the most spunk. And I feel like her deal with Joe it feels more tenuous than it used to.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
he can really screw it up now.
She's had to fend for herself for the last year.
Yeah.
She's been in the dark, and she's sort of become the leader of the followers that were left over. And she was the one who really held out hope and was keeping things together.
Yeah, definitely.
So she's bringing that to this new Emma with this new Joe, and so the dynamic, I think, has shifted a lot.
Well, Emma, she did this. Valerie Curry did this great interview in Collider, on Collider, the site, and talked about talked about the transition from, you know, abandoning all things from season 1 and going into season 2. In other words, like, you know, Emma's whole world has sort of changed. So she's very untethered, to use Valerie's word, untethered from her whole world of season 1. So she has to sort of revert back to who she really is as a person, which is this chameleon who can adapt to any situation. You see her having to go in hiding and do her hair and mohawk and sort of adapt to that situation. And now she's, once you found out that about the followers are around, she sort of had to adapt there, and now she's back in the mansion with Joe. She's adapting again, and I think now you're seeing the Emma is formulating a plan of her own. I think Emma her wheels are turning and trying to figure out how she can manipulate. She's already got her eyes on Lily and what Lily's doing. She's already got her eyes on the twins. She doesn't really trust anyone. She's trying to feel this whole thing out in order to make sure that she has her stronghold with Joe.
Yeah, and well, not just with Joe. I think she's smarter than that. I think at this point, on some level, she's got to recognize that Mark's attraction to her is the only thing keeping her alive.
Right.
I mean, really, Lily has no use for her, and neither does the French chickadee. And you know, at this point, she's completely extraneous. She's already fulfilled her purpose in getting Joe to them, so there's no more need for her.
Sure.
So I mean, on some level, she's got to realize that, and I think she does. What's interesting to me is, or I don't know, kind of neat. She's not just for Joe now. She's recognizing that she's got to play it differently for herself.
Yeah.
And so her time spending with Mark in the look at the artist thing. Well, sure, I'll play artist with you, sure.
Right.
And you want to put your hand on my face? Sure. I might even go to kiss you. Oh shit, you're a freak. Okay, fine. But you know, it's a different dynamic. It's not just what can I do for Joe. Now she's also surviving.
Well, yeah, this is a woman who manipulated 2 guys and had 2, you know, presumably homosexual guys or bisexual guys, you know, with both of them separately and together, all while being in love with Joe. I mean, she's definitely got no qualms about doing what
survive.
she's got to do. You know?
She also doesn't know. Nobody knows who's really in charge here. I think everyone is presuming that now that Joe's there, he's the king of the hill, but it's not.
He's not.
Lily.
Yeah.
It's
Did you see that last scene?
Let's talk about this for a second. You know, Lily does that one thing. She does that one great moment with Emma, where she uses what I call women's language. I learned about it. And I'll tell you about it if you want to hear it.
I would love to hear it.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you about women's language.
Tell
The
me all
things
about
that
it,
I have
Joe
learned.
Sanfelippo.
Just fluent in women's
I wouldn't say I'm
hear
fluent.
this.
I wouldn't say I'm fluent. I understand a few words.
All right, I'm listening.
There's a thing that can happen. Women can talk trash about each other. This is my experience, right in front of other women, and dudes have no idea that it's even happened, but it's happened. Like, for example, I'm so glad you changed your hair. You got rid of that ugly pink. And she touches her just so. And what she's done is say, you made a shit choice. I like this choice a little bit better. I'm way taller than you. I'm way bigger than you. I'm way more important than you. And you're a little girl. And all that was said while saying something supposedly nice.
Right.
That's women's language. That's what I mean by women. No, look at the face that Julia Cearley's making, because women have a separate language. And this is, am I wrong?
I wouldn't say you're wrong.
I'm right.
But in this instance, yes, you are very right. It was biting and there was an element of undercutting to it.
Right, and it was in front of a bunch of dudes who probably missed. Like Joe probably didn't pick up on it. He's like, oh, everything's great.
Right.
But luckily, you were fluent.
Can I ask you guys a question?
You know what I'm saying? And I'm here to
Yes.
translate.
Like, who would we do without you?
What would you do without me?
The question I have is, does Lily know about Joe and Emma? Is that out? Are they out? Or Joe and Emma's little romantic
No,
tryst?
no, let's talk about that for a second, because they didn't have a romantic tryst. They had a one-nighter.
Okay.
Remember that? He was really drunk. He and Roderick got real wasted, if I remember right. And he wound up.
That's right.
He and Emma wound up going to work, but he was gunning for Natalie Z the whole time.
Well, yeah, as were you, but he
As am I.
But current, excuse me.
She's not
present
him.
tense. I find her unjustified. She's no, but yeah, right. But she's made it very clear that he's in love with her, but he's made it very clear to her that I love my wife. So it just makes me wonder where Emma's thinking now that Natalie Z's out of the picture.
Yeah.
It's now that Claire's
It's a real
gone.
nice way to say it, Joe.
Emma's like, sorry, now that Claire's out of the picture. Maybe Emma's like, this is my big chance, and then in walks Lily. And I cannot wait to see what the F is going to happen when Emma gets a load of Joe and Lily's act. that whole sort of like.
She's not going to be too. Well, she's locked away in the barn, in the art barn.
In the art barn with Crazy Town, who can't be touched.
Can't even touch.
Meanwhile, he's having a blood print booty call up in the.
That's some rough deal, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't
whatever
know.
floats your boat, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But I'm sorry.
No, I've never killed anybody that had sex. So I guess
Right.
You haven't?
No, never
Oh.
never
Try
even
it
thought
sometime.
about it.
Try it sometime.
Woo, good stuff.
Hey,
awesome.
You know what?
Ew, gross. No. I don't want to go here.
La 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 la.
Yes.
Well, let's talk briefly about our buddy Joe. Let's talk about what we saw this week, because I felt like I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I got kind of lured into a little bit of a Joe's not so bad trance. You know, like he was in Boone County, Arkansas. I'd probably kill someone to get out of Boone County, Arkansas.
Sure.
And he did, and it made sense, and he had no choice. It seemed like he was backed into a corner, and he tells Mandy, you only kill if you have to, and it's a precious gift, and the whole 9 yards. And then we get over there, and Lily has laid out the co-ed from San Diego Tech, which I don't think exists, thank God. Does it? San Diego
No.
Technical College?
No.
I can't imagine a technical college in San
It's
Diego.
not.
Having spent a lot of time down there, I don't think technical
All right.
hub is what I would say.
Take it easy.
I love San Diego. I just
All
don't
right.
think technical hub.
All right.
So she's from San Diego Tech, which is hopefully fictional, and she is in this little bird cage, and she's set up this magnificent place for him to torture and kill young co-eds. It's got drainage. It's got every tool he could imagine. The tools are in leather cases, which are in keeping with his whole Gothic vibe. He's got an old school desk in the corner.
Yep.
Again, Gothic vibe.
You're right.
And she doesn't
For
have her
inspiration.
right, and she doesn't have her in some sort of rudimentary cage. She's in an Art Deco bird cage with a top, with sides, the whole nine.
Lily's all class. I'm gonna tell you right now. That's one classy broad.
This set him up to be a different kind of killer than I thought he was. I didn't think, granted, I wasn't on the show with you guys last season, but I remember him, hunting his students, his intellectual students, breaking into their house, strangling them, yada, yada. I didn't think that he was a guy who tied you up and meticulously carved away and tortured you. I didn't
but he
think that's
was.
what he did.
Yeah, he did.
the eyes. That was his thing.
He did some of that. He did a lot.
did?
He did some of that in season 1. Well, the old Joe Carroll, the pre-follower cult Joe Carroll did a lot of that, like on his way to being captured by Ryan Hardy, and then the pre-jail Joe Carroll. That's kind of how he rolled.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
To
then-
that extent?
Yeah, he would do the thing with the eyes. Remember, he cut up the eyes really slowly.
yeah,
It had to be
the-
awake to do it.
The poker thing.
Yep.
Like it was all kind of gruesome
Yeah, I wasn't on
things
the show, you
happening.
guys
Yeah.
watched
It was on the gruesome tip.
Yeah, so I don't know. I was so out, as I talked about last week. I was a little out on Joe Carroll as a supervillain. I was with you, Joe. I didn't think he was good. I like James Purefoy. I just was kind of like, all right, like what's he doing exactly? And so when we see him at the beginning of this and he shaves the beard and we're supposed to have this big like he's back moment, I didn't have that moment. Like, oh, he shaved the beard. There he is. And then, he's bumping around. He's promising Emma stuff. He has a plan. I'm like pretty bored. And then when she shows up with the torture room and all the accoutrements and the bird cage and everything else, and he says, "No, you can't
says,
tell me what to do."
Who do
I
you
will
think
not-
you are, and who do you think I am?
Yeah. Then I was like, oh, this guy's something. And then once he said, I'm going to take control of the situation, when he went in there and did it, which was, I don't like seeing, I know we do The Following and Bates Motel and Hannibal and True Detective, but I don't like seeing people getting killed.
We'd like to drink a lot, but we don't like the taste of alcohol. That's something on this show.
But I don't like seeing like young co-eds, like wide-eyed co-eds with tears and like about to get. But that happened that moment, which was terrifying. And then you saw Joe Carroll. And then I was reminded, oh yeah, this guy's a pretty bad guy. He's a serial killer. Oh, he's a crazy person. And then I got scared of him again.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like, I don't know, for me, like accepting Joe Carroll as a terrible human being and that does awful things, that's a given. But I felt like at this thing, we're kind of playing this new game, like, all right, what kind of terrible murderous asshole is he? And then we kind of get to play this interesting thing out where, he's ashamed afterwards. He didn't feel to me like, it didn't feel to me like he was satisfied. It felt to me like, I don't know, like I would imagine it would be if you sleep with a hooker. Like you paid for it. There was never a question as to whether or not it was going to happen.
Careful.
Oh no, I'm being serious. It didn't feel like like part of the joy for him, I got the impression was that he enjoyed hunting. He enjoyed getting an investment in the girl and finding out what she was about. I mean, they were his students, so they were writing papers, and he was reading their papers, and he was involved. He understood them on the level of an English professor would understand their students if he's giving them creative writing. So you're getting to the heart of who they are. And if you're just given this thing, you don't have any investment in her. You haven't hunted her, you haven't read her book or her papers, you have no investment in her personally. So it almost seemed like it seemed very cheap, and it seemed very much like he wasn't going to do that. And I thought, that's interesting. What are they going to do with this girl? That's complicated, but he's not going to do this. And then when he went and did it, I feel like it felt like an alcoholic going back to a drink, or a sexaholic going to a prostitute. It felt like very much someone and he felt ashamed to me afterwards. Like he was covering her up, and he had his drink because he obviously got something out of it. But I didn't feel like he got out of it what he used to.
I agree. I completely agree. I don't think he's a guy who likes things handed to him on a silver platter. He works for things, and he creates. This isn't something that he created on his own. And I mean, what's her name? Lily, she was an art dealer, and she says she fosters art and talent. But he's not someone to be brought up. He's not someone to be nurtured. He's already there. Like, he's the guy. He's number one, and to have it just handed to him, this felt sort of condescending, I would imagine.
Didn't it?
Much like she was condescending to
Here you go,
to
sweetheart.
Emma.
Here you go. Yeah.
Here you go, Joe. Do your thing. Make some art. Feel good about yourself. I'll take care of you.
So I agree on those last points, but I kind of disagree on Joe's sort of pleasure and motivation in the situation. I feel like that initially, he was like, "Look, I'm the boss here. No one to tell me. I'm not some kept dude who can keep in a corner and watch him play. Like, I'm Joe Carroll." So I think, though, by the time he decided to do it, he did take control of the situation. I think he did enjoy it, and I think that obviously he enjoyed it enough to go in the other room and take care of business, with Lily, and who was very ready for that, actually.
So who was in charge? She was in lingerie with her hair did, waiting for him. So who was driving the boat?
But let me back up. So I just I talk about Joe Carroll's motivation and what's his motivation. I think that now I see, you made it very clear that his motivation has always been to find inspiration for his own art, which is his own outlet, which is these books. So his motivation has been sort of like to kill, to find inspiration, to be able to write. And so she set the situation up here. So look, you're starting from scratch. I don't know what it's going to take. Here's a bird cage. Here's some serial killing accoutrement. Here's a desk. I don't know. Maybe find some inspiration. And I feel like he did. I feel like he went in there. He did his business. And I mean, he didn't go right and start writing. He went and took care of business in the other room first, but then I think he may come out and start writing something and creating something, because this is kind of that's his outlet.
I don't know. I can see both points, but I feel like what she did and what she set up to him is sort of on par with him plagiarizing something when he writes. That's
what it felt like to me. Like right. as a writer, it felt like he was. It felt prostitutal.
Yeah.
Prostitutally.
I like that name.
Prostituterificness.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to partner.
All of them.
He doesn't
Prostituted.
Yes. Conjugate that word. Prostitutal. Prostitutology. All right.
But I don't think he wants a partner in his crimes either. Like, he doesn't want a ghostwriter on his books.
No.
Why would he want someone ghostwriting on his murders?
Not only that, I don't know about you guys, but if I'm a serial killer who was in charge of a cult and you lay out something in front of me like this, I'll give you an example. When you asked me to do Sean Connery, I like doing Sean Connery, but I get mad when you ask me to do it.
Right.
I don't know why. There's something wrong with me. But it's kind of like, because you're like, do Sean Connery now. Do the thing you like to do.
I really want you to do Sean
I
Connery.
know, right?
I never ask you to do Sean Connery.
You do.
I beg you to not do Sean Connery.
Oh, you're a mean man.
All right.
So my point is, like, you just feel natural. Like, no, I want to do it. I want to kill this girl. I want to create. And if he doesn't want it, then it seems very cheap. And that, which brings us to Lily and her plan. What is Lily Gray's plan?
Right.
What are we trying to do here, do you think?
Well, it asked, you asked a question earlier. I mean, we talked about this earlier. Who is in charge here? Who's the boss?
Who's driving the boat?
Who's the boss? And don't say Angela.
Although it kind of
or
was.
Tony Danza.
It was Angela. He wasn't in charge. He was getting paid to be there.
This is a
circular moment. We're going
It
in
was
circles.
Mona.
Mona.
It was always Mona.
So who's the boss here? I mean, like, this is a very similar. I bring that up because it's a very similar situation. Is it Tony or Angela? Is it Joe or Lily? I mean, Lily has set this whole thing up, and she's clearly the matriarch of this crazy international serial killer family. But Joe, that's all for Joe. So it's almost like, I want you to come in here and take control, Joe, and do what you do, which is lead us, maybe. And also, Lily's looking, she was actually waiting, all with her hair did and ready to get all gussied and bloodied up. And, she was ready. So she's like, it was almost like, okay, Joe, take control of everything, including me. That's what I thought. So I don't know. So maybe, or was it a seduction move? Like, I want Joe to think he's in control. I got him now. I got him killing. I mean,
I don't think she's a woman who wants
Tony
to
or
be
Angela
controlled. Mona. Forever Mona. She was feisty.
The woman behind the man.
Well, she is very Joe Carroll-like in that he was doing these murders in order to create content for his book. So now maybe she is manipulating him to do these murders to create content for a different medium, being visual art. She's an art dealer.
So, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I think it's
paint it?
It's an interesting place that the writers have given themselves to go to when you have a $1.4 billion fortune. So you've eliminated the need for money. You've eliminated the need for actually being productive. You don't need it. Like
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's no one in that family that needs to go to work on Monday because it don't matter. So you've really changed the parameter. When you take the need to survive out of anything, then the motives can become extraordinarily perverse, because whatever it is you want to do, it's what you want to do, and that's it. That's the beginning, middle, and end of it. And so that's why I'm really curious. I don't know. I mean, has she been waiting for an equal? Is that her point of view with Joe? And if she has been waiting for an equal, does this mean this is kind of like a tryout? Does it mean like, is he going to be up to it? Because I don't think for a moment that she's going to just let him burn down the house. I mean, she's got the whole fam, although minus two of them now. So, I mean, to me, she's got some infrastructure built up. So, I mean, if she's auditioning for an equal and he's not up to the task, is he going to be out? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or is it straight up like, we built this all for you, Joe, now you're in charge, here's $1.4 billion, let's go have fun and do whatever it is you want to do right now?
Maybe. I don't know. And this is also, the weird thing about it is they're like we talked about this last week as well, they're the worst kept secret in the world. Every one of those guys is blown.
Yeah.
Joe Carroll is about to be blown. Like, they're held up in what can they go do exactly? Like, before they had the clandestine followers all over Roderick, and they're activating, sleeper agents all over I'm trying to laugh. It was completely believable, season 1. Completely believable. They're activating sleeper agents all over.
Bulletproof helicopter.
Bulletproof helicopters. They're activating sleeper agents all over the country. But now it's just the international, clan of super killers. So we'll see, what they're able to do with this plan. Although, R.I.P. to the one French brother. Like, I mean, was there ever anyone, a blacker brother with a redder shirt on? Like, how red was his shirt, Joe Filippo? Like, the second he's like, no, take so and so.
Yeah, you're like, he's dead.
That's an ABD.
Another brother down. There is no question. For those of you not familiar, and I can't imagine who you are, red shirt goes back to the old Star Trek from the 60s. If you were wearing a red shirt and you went down to the planet with Spock, Captain Kirk, and McCoy, which is weird that all the senior officers would always beam down to the planet, but that's apparently how they did it.
Top-down leadership.
Top-down leadership. If you went down to the planet with a red shirt on, you was not coming back.
Not making it back to the Starship Enterprise.
That's it. Ensign Riley is dead.
Yes.
That's just how it works.
So Ensign Frenchie didn't make it.
No, Ensign Frenchie did not.
No.
And he got shot in the leg, and I thought maybe it's going to be Luke that's going to have to kill him, because he's not coming back. There's no way.
No, it was a got-to-go situation.
No question.
All right, anyway. So there was that. Can we get into Ryan here? I mean,
You want to talk about Ryan? You think that's important? Like he's in the show for
he's
something?
the star of the show.
Who's that guy?
Let's talk about Ryan Hardy, newfound vigilante.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. You want my impression of Ryan Hardy?
Well, yeah, but I do like this. I was kind of on the fence.
I was too, and kind of enjoying this.
And we started season 1 kind of like this, where the sort of like reluctant, Ryan, like in other words, season 1, he was like, I don't want anything to do with this guy, but he still kind of wanted Joe Carroll, but he's like, didn't want to have to do with the FBI. Then he's like walking around with the flashlight like Scooby-Doo, and he had no gun for like 3 or 4 or 5 episodes.
And he had a heart condition. I remember that.
Heart condition, which he doesn't have anymore.
Indeed.
But now this episode, he's still not dealing with the FBI. He's still kind of on his own rogue, but I do like the sort of like hard as nails, tough, no nonsense Ryan Hardy, because his thing is, I forget, like, Claire is dead. Like, for a guy who seems well adjusted, I forget he's on a mission. Like,
yeah, how could you forget?
Well,
Joe?
he's been after this guy. It's also funny how the tables are turned. How season 1 it was Joe who's after Ryan Hardy, who's ruined his life. Ryan, you can't get away from me. Now it's Ryan who's after Joe. Joe, you can't get Joe, you can't get away from me. I'll get you. This whole season is about Ryan getting Joe, where season 1 was all about Joe getting Ryan. I mean, what's season 3 going to be about?
Well, let me say this. I don't know if you know, but Natalie Z, she's no longer on the show because her character was killed off.
So they hear.
Which to me was quite jarring. Mm-hmm. And maybe I can put it in context for you. The way you feel about Emma is the way I felt about Natalie Z.
Okay.
And so when she was killed, I was devastated.
I missed that, actually.
Distraught. I missed it too.
All right.
So when what did you guys think in the hotel room? Because Ryan says to Giselle, he says, I don't care about you and your family. I don't care. You tell me where Joe is. All I want is Joe. And then he gets up and he's strangling her. Remember that whole thing? Mm-hmm. And Max is flipping out.
That was a cool scene.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a cool scene.
And she says, they're walking down the hallway afterwards, and she says, "Wow, you played that to the hilt." It had to be believable.
Right.
Did you guys think he was full of? Did you guys think he was full of it, or
I didn't realize that was a rehearsed thing. Like that was the plan. That I thought that played out really well.
Oh, good cop, bad cop.
Well, definitely
That's
good cop, bad cop, and it definitely gave each other the good cop, bad cop wink. However, I think Ryan was serious. And what else when he says, "I want to shove an ice pick into Joe Carroll's brain," like, I mean, I kind of believed him.
I did too.
I don't think he was doing a thing. I think like he really wants to shove an ice pick into Joe Carroll's brain.
Yeah, I don't think for a second, if she had given him the address of the house, I don't think for a second he was going to call the FBI.
Right, exactly.
He didn't call the FBI with the address of the factory.
Which is this is kind of what this whole vigilante thing is so interesting to me, because I'm really starting to believe that this isn't, Ryan Hardy's not trying to bring Joe Carroll in.
No.
He's trying to take Joe Carroll out. Yeah.
I brought you in. We had you. The FBI is a joke, and we went ahead and let you go.
Twice. Brought him in twice.
So I'm just going to kill you.
Yeah, because sick of Joe Carroll bumping around. You know what I think the show, why I realized that I like this episode a lot is, no disrespect to Mike Westmore, but not a lot of FBI.
Not a lot of FBI.
Not a lot of room for FBI WTFs, because the FBI is not there. And I realize that sometimes, going to the FBI, going to the command center, looking at a bunch of screens, like, kind of slows the show down. I want more character stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, the other thing is that the FBI is always 2 steps behind everything in this show. They're always completely lost. And I got to be honest, I think that Ryan as a vigilante, the way that Kevin Bacon's playing him, I think he's a lot more fun.
Right.
I think he's kind of gotten rid of all the like, it seemed like a lot of the hang-ups that he had from last season were things about the FBI and about justice and doing everything the right way.
Right.
And he's over it. He's like, screw it. No, I'm just going to kill him. That's my whole deal. And I hope Max doesn't get hurt in this, and it would really screw him up if she did. But I think his deal is just kill Joe. I think that's legit.
There was one more important development that we didn't discuss in the show, which was the death of the main Frenchy woman, and Giselle, and how pissed off
Giselle's dead, man. That's no joke. Oh man, that was bad.
No.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize to everyone.
No.
Oh, I'm humiliated for you.
Okay, so Giselle is dead. Pretend that never happened.
No, we can't. It happened.
I can't.
Giselle's dead, and
You wanted to say it.
And Twin is, I tried not to say dead. Dude is really pissed about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he really wants to go.
broken up.
Like, this is the whole thing. Like, they're coming after, as we've seen in the previews, they're coming after Ryan Hardy. They're going to come hard after Ryan Hardy. So I don't know if this is, they seem to do a pretty good job of not exposing the fact that Joe Carroll's actually alive. They seem to be very protective of this, but I wonder if next week they're going to get, how much they care about exposing the fact that Joe Carroll is alive in a process of trying to get Ryan Hardy. If it had been very, coy about, I don't know, maybe he looks dead to me. Give it up. We think he's dead. But dude's pissed. And whatever plan that they had with the mom, and we're also reminiscent of Roderick and Joe from last season. He's also getting kind of pissed at Lily, like, enjoy your boy toy, mother. That whole what he said to
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So man, there may be a little power. And I'm saying that's my prediction, but there may be a little power struggle.
Yeah, Luke is
I don't
Luke's
think
heated.
it's just a power struggle. I think that it's a. I think that there's
a little bit of something going on.
I don't know if it's incest. I don't know if they're really
jealousy.
related, but yeah.
I don't think they're not actually related, right? She's just raising them after the maid died, right?
They're only related by sex.
Only.
But still, fact remains, he still calls her mother, and she is the matriarch of this ginormous family filled with adopted kids. Is she banging all of them? I don't know.
I don't know.
The
International
Or is it just
serial
Luke,
killer
or
orgy.
Do they all think that it's just them? I don't know.
I don't know.
She's the MILF-triarch.
That was almost as bad as mine, man.
Guys.
Oh boy.
Now
bad
I'm
as
embarrassed
that.
for you too.
Wow.
All right, let's.
All right. Well, if you're listening on iTunes, we want to thank you for downloading on iTunes, and if you have a chance, please rate us. We love Joe. What do we love?
Fives.
We love fives. And any comments you guys have, please feel free, leave them on iTunes, or if you want it, we can have a little more back and forth if you leave them on the YouTubes. If you've never looked at us on YouTube, check us out, AfterBuzz, following season 2 on AfterBuzz at YouTube, and you can actually check us out. We're not bad looking. Before we wrap this up here, I think it's about time to get into news and gossip. We got any news and gossip?
Oh.
You look like you were looking at something.
Well, I was on my way to look at some of our wonderful people that we want.
Oh, we got some people?
Yes, we do have some people.
Who we got, Joe?
Well, we have some people that we want to shout out that I'm going to find right now.
Oh, I thought you were there. My mistake.
And their names are...
We are currently...
We like to call them people like...
I can't.
This thing called internet.
My internet's not
No, we don't
working
have
anymore.
it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, really? Is it all bad?
Well,
Got it?
our old standboy, Brent William Henry, Dave 1555. We've got Bouquet S, Taylord, Desiree Wilkes, Taylor S, of course. Hi, Taylor. Boyd Lester, Dana Graff from Berlin, Daniela Graff, Boyd, Claudia Charles, Dan J Studio 13, who loved your shut your mouth reaction, Teresa Pierce, and Ticklety Lady, we love, Super October 71, and that's all I got for now.
And you got Bouquet S, right?
I did.
Boyd Lesher?
I did.
Excellent.
We got some shout outs on Twitter too. We have Terry Pitnick and Terry Deck. That's all I can see right now.
All right.
But that's a couple. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you so much
and
for
all of our standbys, from the vanilla cupcakes to the MTAs,
Oh, yeah.
to
Yes.
the Vanillis, all of our wonderful posts, Cesar Gonzalez, all the people we love. Thank you very much. For
Yeah.
following
Well, thank
us.
you so much for all of your comments. We very much appreciate them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
We're back to the old drop-in. I like that one so
like
much better.
this one more.
Julia Cearley.
Gives me more time to panic.
Yes, I don't want to hear your prediction right now. I want to hear Joe Braswell's.
Oh!
You see what I did there?
Yeah, I like
Boom, blew your mind.
Yeah, so I predict that, I kind of touched on it, but I predict there's going to be a power struggle, between, I can't remember my man, Luke, the evil twin.
Yep.
Yeah, between Luke and Mama Lily, and Joe, ultimately. I think that you were going to have a little dissension in the ranks as Lily gets closer to Joe and defers to Joe, and I don't think Luke's going to like that. I think Luke's going to want to go in his own direction, and then we'll see, sort of how this divides the house. As it, we've got a lot of episodes to go, man. We got like
720 more.
like 17 episodes to go. So I don't know. We have a lot of story to tell. So we got a lot to happen.
All right, Julia Cearley.
I think that I'm going to go with the other twin. I think Mark's going to be the one that blows this whole thing open. I think he is the loosest cannon of them all. Now that we know he has this affliction. I think. I don't know. He's going to start killing some people. I think he might even kill his own twin brother eventually.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I like when you kind of back into these predictions. They're always good, though.
She's like, I got this plan.
Something I'm thinking about, guys. Just something I've been thinking
I
about.
like it.
Let me piggyback on your thing there, because I think that Luke is the crazy of the two, and I think that Luke is really heated over Giselle, and I think Luke's going to die soon. I think Luke will die next week or the week after, and I think that Mark will go ape after Luke dies. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think Emma's going to be right in the middle of it somehow or another. I think Emma's going to maybe have an opportunity to make a choice. Maybe you can save Luke, you can save Joe, maybe kind of thing. And I think Luke's going to go down, and I think that Mark's going to go nuts.
Right. Are Mark and Emma going to do it?
Or Mark and Emma, I don't know, man.
He doesn't like to be touched.
He would have to initiate the hell out of that.
Yeah. Well, all right.
What was it called? What's the disease?
Hapalapalakaji.
Hapaphobia.
Well, we hope you have a good week. We will talk to you next week. So bad, I know. It's two. That's two. It's two awful ones. It was a pleasure taking care of you guys today. Joe Braswell, where can we find you, sir?
Joe K. Braswell on Twitter and Instagram.
Julia Cearley, where can we find you, ma'am?
Julia Carrolley, JuliaCearley. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. And here, you'll see me here.
Doing millions of shows.
Many shows.
What shows, Joe?
Hannibal. True Detective.
Blacklist.
Americans Coming.
That's here.
And Bates Motel coming.
Very exciting. And you can find me on the Twitters at Joe Filippo, JoeFlippo, and my website is josephsanfelippo.com. It was a pleasure. You guys have a great week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you good later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.